Hello everyone, and welcome back to Highlighted Texts with 3rd Law, where I read out loud highlighted texts in novels that I'm reading that I find interesting. So today we are moving on to part 5 of Atomic Habits, written by James Clear. We are moving on from page 233, so let's go. How to stay focused when you get bored working on your goals. After my baseball career ended, I was looking for a new sport. I joined a weightlifting team, and one day an elite coach visited our gym. He had worked with thousands of athletes during his long career, including a few Olympians. I introduced myself and we began talking about the process of improvement. What's the difference between the best athletes and everyone else? I asked. What do the really successful people do that most don't? He mentioned the factors you might expect: genetics, luck, talent. But then he said something I wasn't expecting. At some point, it comes down to who can handle the boredom of training every day, doing the same lifts over and over and over. The greatest threat to success is not failure, but boredom. We get bored with the habits because they stop delighting us. The outcome becomes expected. And as our habits become ordinary, we start derailing our progress to seek novelty. Perhaps this is why we get caught up in a never-ending cycle, jumping from one workout to the next, one diet to the next, one business idea to the next. As soon as we experience the slightest dip in motivation, we begin seeking a strategy, even if the old one was still working. As Machiavelli noted, men desire novelty to such an extent that those who are doing well wish for a change as much as those who are doing badly. Perhaps this is why many of the most habit-forming products are those that provide continuous forms of novelty. Video games provide visual novelty. Porn provides sexual novelty. Junk food provides culinary novelty. Each of these experiences offer continual elements of surprise. Of course, not all habits have a variable reward component, and you wouldn't want them to. If Google only delivered a useful search result some of the time, I would switch to a competitor pretty quickly. If Uber only picked up half of my trips, I doubt I would be using that service much longer. And if I flossed my teeth each night and only sometimes ended up with a clean mouth, I think I would skip it. When you know the simple movements so well that you can perform them without thinking, you are free to pay attention to more advanced details. In this way, habits are the backbone of any pursuit of excellence. However, the benefits of habits come at a cost. At first, each repetition develops fluency, speed, and skill. But then, as a habit becomes automatic, you become less sensitive to feedback. You fall into mindless repetition. It becomes easier to let mistakes slide. When you can do it good enough on autopilot, you stop thinking about how to do it better. The upside of habits is that you can do things without thinking. The downside of habits is that you get used to doing things a certain way and stop paying attention to the little errors. You assume you are getting better because you are gaining experience. In reality, you are merely reinforcing your current habits, not improving them. In fact, some research has shown that once a skill has been mastered, there is usually a slight decline in performance over time. Usually, this minor dip in performance is no cause for worry. You don't need a system to continuously improve how well you brush your teeth, or tie your shoes, or make your morning cup of tea. With habits like these, good enough is usually good enough. The less energy you spend on trivial choices, the more you can spend it on what really matters. Habits are necessary, but not sufficient for mastery. What you need is a combination of automatic habits and deliberate practice. Habits plus deliberate practice is equals to mastery. Mastery is the process of narrowing your focus to a tiny element of success, repeating it until you have internalized the skill and then using this new habit as the foundation to advance to the next frontier of your development. Although habits are powerful, what you need is a way to remain conscious of your performance over time, so you can continue to refine and improve. It is precisely at the moment when you begin to feel like you have mastered a skill, right when things are starting to feel automatic and you are becoming comfortable, that you must avoid slipping into the trap of complacency. The solution: establish a system for reflection and review. Reflection and review enables the long-term improvement of all habits because it makes you aware of your mistakes and helps you consider possible paths of improvement. Without reflection, we can make excuses, create rationalizations, and lie to ourselves. We have no process for determining whether we are performing better or worse compared to yesterday. I know of executive investors who keep a decision journal in which they record the major decisions they make each week, why they made them, and what they expect the outcome to be. They review their choices at the end of each month or year to see where they were correct and where they were wrong. I perform an annual review in which I reflect on the previous year. I tally my habits for the year by counting up how many articles I published, how many workouts I put in, how many new places I visited, and more. Then I reflect on my progress, or lack thereof, by answering 3 questions. What went well this year? 2. What didn't go so well this year? 3. What did I learn? Reflection can also bring a sense of perspective. Daily habits are powerful because of how they compound, but worrying too much about every daily choice is like looking at yourself in the mirror from an inch away. You can see every imperfection and lose sight of the bigger picture. There is too much feedback. Conversely, never reviewing your habits is like never looking in the mirror. You aren't aware of easily fixable flaws, a spot on your shirt, a bit of food in your teeth. There is too little feedback. Periodic reflection and review is like viewing yourself in the mirror from a conversational distance. You can see the important changes you should make without losing sight of the bigger picture. You want to view the entire mountain range, not obsess over each peak and valley. Finally, reflection and review offers an ideal time to revisit one of the most important aspects of your behavior change: identity. One solution is to avoid making any single aspect of your identity an overwhelming portion of who you are. In the words of the investor Paul Graham, keep your identity small. The more you let a single belief define you, the less capable you are of adapting when life challenges you. If you are a vegan and then develop a health condition that forces you to change your diet, you'll have an identity crisis on your hands. When you cling too tightly to one identity, you become brittle, lose that one thing, and you lose yourself. For many business owners, their identity is something along the lines of I'm the CEO or I'm the founder. If you have spent every working moment working on your business, how will you feel after you sell the company? The key to mitigating these losses of identity is to redefine yourself such that you get to keep important aspects of your identity even if your particular role changes. I'm an athlete becomes I'm the type of person who is mentally tough and loves a physical challenge. I'm a great soldier transforms into I'm the type of person who is disciplined, reliable, and great on a team. I'm the CEO translates to I'm the type of person who builds and creates things. When chosen effectively, an identity can be flexible rather than brittle. The following quote from the Tao Te Ching encapsulates the ideas perfectly. Men are born soft and supple, dead they are stiff and hard. Plants are born tender and pliant, dead they are brittle and dry. Thus, whoever is stiff and inflexible is a disciple of death. Whoever is soft and yielding is a disciple of life. The hard and stiff will be broken, the soft and supple will prevail. Lao Tzu. Habits deliver numerous benefits, but the downside is that they can lock us into our previous patterns of thinking and acting, even when the world is shifting around us. Everything is impermanent. Life is constantly changing. So you need to periodically check in to see if your old habits and beliefs are still serving you. A lack of self-awareness is poison. Reflection and review is the antidote. Success is not a goal to reach or finish a finish line. Success is not a goal to reach or a finish line to cross. It's a system to improve, an endless process to refine. In chapter 1, I said, if you are having trouble changing your habits, the problem isn't you. The problem is your system. Bad habits repeat themselves again and again, not because you don't want to change, but because you have the wrong system for change. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we have reached the end of the book. Oh, we have some highlighted text in the appendix. Let's see what they have to say. Okay. Being curious is better than being smart. Being motivated and curious counts for more than being smart because it leads to action. Being smart will never deliver results on its own because it doesn't get you to act. It is desire, not intelligence, that prompts behavior. As Naval Ravikant says, the trick to doing anything is first cultivating a desire for it. Emotions drive behavior. Every decision is an emotional decision at some level. Whatever your logical reason for taking action, you only feel compelled to act on them because of emotion. In fact, people with damage to emotional centers of the brain can list many reasons for taking action but still will not act because they do not have emotions to drive them. This is why craving comes before response. The feeling comes first and then the behavior. We can only be rational and logical after we have been emotional. The primary mode of the brain is to feel. The secondary mode is to think. Our first response, the first non-conscious portion of the brain, is optimized for feeling and anticipating. Our second response, the slow conscious portion of the brain, is the part that does the thinking. Your response tends to follow your emotions. Our thoughts and actions are rooted in what we find attractive, not necessarily in what is logical. Two people can notice the same set of facts and respond very differently because they run those facts through their unique emotional field. This is one reason why appealing to emotion is typically more powerful than appealing to reason. Your actions reveal how badly you want something. If you keep saying something is a priority but you never act on it, then you don't really want it. It's time to have an honest conversation with yourself. Your actions reveal your true motivations. Satisfaction is close to liking minus wanting. This is the wisdom behind Seneca's famous quote, being poor is not having too little, it is wanting more. If you want to outpace your likes, you will always be unsatisfied. You are perpetually putting more weight on the problem than the solution. Well, we've reached the end of the book. Thank you for being with me through this journey. So reading out loud these highlighted text actually helps me in trying to recall and have this memory at my finger, have this knowledge on my fingertips. So thank you for your attention. I hope this session or these parts have helped you get more interested in reading the books. This one, Atomic Habits. It was so helpful for me. I'm actually trying to implement some of the practical knowledge in the book. So see, I hope I become a better person as I go on. Actually, this series is sort of another way of trying to be consistent in some field. So thank you for your attention. Have a nice day. Have a nice life. I'm 3rd Law. Stay safe.